Welcome back to the Balance Boldly podcast for ambitious women in business and a few brave men. I'm your host, Naketa Ren Thigpen. As always, I am better than magical, more than ecstatic, and completely thrilled to be in the space with you today. But extra, especially because this potent human that I have the opportunity to sit down with and for us to play together in front of you, audio only, it's going to be a fantastic conversation because of all the things that she is doing in her life, because of her lived experience, and because of her professional acumen, which I think all of us, especially our visionary founders and entrepreneurs, will especially truly love and respect, because many of you are a reflection of what she is about to share. So, bringing to our kitchen conversation stage is Miss Elisa Schmitz. She is an award-winning entrepreneur and professional journalist. She's the Latina founder and CEO of 30seconds.com, an inspiring digital media platform that makes the world a happier, healthier, and more delicious, I dare say, I agree, I've tried some of these recipes, place 30 seconds at a time. She's also the founder of iParenting, a best of the web digital media company that was acquired by Walt Disney Company. All of you listening know that yours too can be acquired by a behemoth that has taken over the world. No stranger to life's fire, the daughter of a Puerto Rican mother and Yugoslavian immigrant father, she learned to use her differences to make a difference as she grew up in Puerto Rico, war-torn Lebanon, and suburban Chicago. All along, she created what she needed to survive and thrive, which all of us at the BBP are head first into, because we are not just trying to walk through this life barely getting there. We are trying to thrive and expand and explode into our next level of being. And in her latest book, Become the Fire, Transform Life's Chaos into Business and Personal Success, she's walking us all right through those steps. Welcome to the BBP. How are you today?
Oh my goodness, Naketa, thank you for that amazing introduction. I am completely overwhelmed and humbled and honored to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're making me blush, and like my cheeks are tired. My mascara is running down my face.
Understood right there with you.
You know, I'm like selfishly, I'm so glad that I'm like a traditional podcaster, like no video for the BBP, period. You guys don't want to see all this oily skin, but no, with love. I know you guys appreciate me anyway. So I would love for you to just share a little bit more about why you decided to even start 30seconds.com. Like, let's start there.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, I have to take even one step back, if that's okay.
Yes.
Because there were, 30seconds.com without iParenting.com. So
Touché.
It's been this journey, right? So I just give you hopefully a quick recap of how this all came to be, because one step led to the next step. Yeah. And, I feel like anyway, I'll share. So it all started when I was, I just got out of graduate school. I had gotten my master's degree in journalism, and I was expecting my first child. And so insatiably curious about what was going on with my body and my baby and all, this new life stage, right? So I was looking for information, and I specifically wanted a pregnancy magazine that I could flip through. And maybe it's just the journalist in me, but I wanted, something to come to my doorstep that I could read and kind of sink my teeth into every month. And believe it or not, there wasn't one out there that existed. And so I decided to do some research and figure out, is this really, something that pregnant women want or need? And is there really a market here? So I talked to all kinds of experts in the space, from, physicians and childbirth educators and doulas and, anyone in the space. And then I did a survey of 100 pregnant women to see if this was something that was really, a thing. And the answer was a resounding yes. There's a need for this in the marketplace. So I decided to go with it and make one myself. So that propelled that first business, which was started as a pregnancy website, ended up as a, really big and highly regarded parenting website that, got lots of accolades and drew the attention of large media companies. And as you said, ultimately was acquired by Disney. And then,
it's awesome.
So that was fun. But then I worked for Disney, and I was a director and executive editor for the Disney Interactive Media Group, which was also a great experience, because going from being kind of a fast running entrepreneur to then working for one of the biggest media companies in the world, culture shock and sort of, stop the fast running, and here's our way of doing things. And so I had to learn how to do things in a different way. Wow. And that was really, very good for me, actually. And so then mobile, started to become the next frontier. And I thought, that's our next challenge, and my next challenge as an entrepreneur is trying to figure out how to reach busy moms, because my lens at the time was all about moms and how can I serve moms better, and how can we reach busy moms on these mobile devices in those short bits of time that they have here and there, because moms are some of the busiest people I know.
Come on.
And right. And, and they're juggling, not only their families, but their work and home and all of this stuff. So I thought, if we can give moms great information in the same amount of time it takes to watch an ad on TV, which is 30 seconds, I think that, we're going to solve this big problem. And so I launched a first iteration of the website, which was called 30 Second Mom, and then started growing it and building it and iterating and pivoting and, sort of ended up now where I am today, which is this digital lifestyle media platform called 30seconds.com, which, as you described, not only serves up great content for moms, but also for dads, and also for, those who want great recipes, those who want wonderful health content. So all of this content now is, designed to inspire, inform, uplift, and somehow to make your life better in 30 seconds.
I love it. And you were ahead of the curve, because I don't remember, I think it was like 15 years ago, our attention span was a little over 75 seconds, and now it's under 47 seconds. So you are still right in a sweet spot, mama, right there. You saw it coming.
Thank you. It's true. I'm like, this is just something that's only, it's quote unquote a problem, right? That we have these little bits of time, and we've become sort of time starved and multitaskers and all this stuff. It's not really healthy. I'm not saying it's the best thing for us, but it is our reality. Yeah. So I was trying to do something good in the reality that we're living in.
Yeah. I mean, I love the bite sizes. Like, I gobbled up a lot of the different categories of 30seconds.com. There's great information. It's well written, lots of contributors, I was trying to think of the right word, that are adding their professional acumen, but also their personal experience, which makes it all relatable, which for me equals juicy, right? Like juicy content, because you don't know, like, not everyone is like, well, here are the 5 steps to heal this part of your body. There's all different stories and ways that it's embodied in the whole website.
Right. Thank you. I mean, I'm so glad you get it, because that's exactly right. We wanted it to be about, multiple voices, diverse voices, people from all over sharing experiences and wisdom. And, this is what worked for me. And, those light bulb moments that make life better and make an impact. And you're so right that comes from, a variety of voices. It wasn't just about me or my team, which we do develop a lot of content, but it's also about, gathering up experts and just passionistas. I call them passionistas because they're passionate about what they are wanting to share. Yeah.
I have to laugh out loud. You see me giggling, but of course the audience can't. Because as I was like gobbling up the stuff over the last couple of weeks, I noticed, I don't know what page it's on, so just excuse that part of my brain. But you have a really great filter of being able to see like what's the most popular content. And I was like, I know that is right, honey, because your company is dominating, right? Like it shows like the icon of either the contributor or if it's from 30seconds.com. And you were like, let's not get it twisted. We love the contributions. We are the masters of this mama part, this dad part, this parenting part. Like I saw that and I was cracking up. I was like, I know that's right. Like, let's be clear. This is our house.
That's very true.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fantastic.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, because you and I were talking in the green room about this cute little video that came out that's probably been populating for forever. And I am not a super glued social media human at all. Like catch me when you catch me type thing, but I happened to catch in the feed this cute little boy singing a song about everything is going to be all right. And it just tied right into your story, your truth, your beauty of all the things that you poured into your book, Become the Fire. And I would love if you would bless us with just a little bit of context for what made you decide to not just write a book, but to be so vulnerable and so honest and transparent about what that looks like for you and how and why you decided to turn it around.
Wow, that is an awesome question. And I pondered that for years, by the way. So the decision to write a book did not come easily. I started people started saying this to me after I sold, the first business and all of that. People that write a book, tell us about it, people are very curious, which is, and I wanted to share, but I just, I went through a very rough divorce. It was all about taking care of my kids, and then it was about starting this next business. And so I just, had other stuff that was sort of, rising to the top of, the priority list. But it was always sort of simmering in the back of my mind, how I would do it, would I do it, how would I write it, that kind of thing. And then it all came to a head for me when I was part of a mentoring organization through Northwestern University, which is one of my alma maters. And we were at a mentoring event on campus, and telling my story was sort of part of this mentoring experience. And then after, I told my story, I was taking Q&A. And the very first question I got from this young woman was, how did you do it? And it just gave me pause because it's not something that's very easily answered. You don't have a really quick, answer to that question. So I answered in the moment as best as I could, but that question really stayed with me. And as I thought about it, I realized, as everyone kind of leaned in and they were like, everyone listening was like, yeah, that's what I want to know too. I realized, okay, the question isn't how did I do it, Elisa?
Right.
But how can I do it, this young woman and these other young women that are listening, how can I do it personally myself? And so it became about how can I tell my story in a way that answers that question so that other people can take those lessons and then apply it to their own lives and do it in their own lives, whatever it means to them.
Exactly.
Because it is different for everybody. So I wanted to, figure out how did I do it? What are the lessons that I learned in my own life that led me to be able to? And then also not only it being about me, but because if you don't, resonate with me, I wanted there to be other women, other voices, other stories that maybe you would resonate with if it wasn't me. So that's why I share the stories of 10 other diverse and successful women that came from, backgrounds that you wouldn't expect that would lead to such success. So I wanted to sort of show their lessons and their stories so that, again, more, voices are being heard and amplified so that we can uplift others. Yeah.
I had a visual of the Fire Collective. Now, I don't know if you are creating a community or you want to trademark that, if that's not taken. Sometimes I get these downloads.
No, I do. I mean, that is such a dream for me, is to now, the book is out there. That was the first step. And now what's the next step so that people can actually engage with, this collective, as you say, this community that wants to give back and serve, because when you get to a certain place, you want to be able to share that wisdom and hope that it doesn't just end with you, right? You want it to go on and say to especially to other women, and a few brave men,
right?
Right? Like, this is what I know. Yeah. I want you to know everything that I know so that you can then take that and go even further, like go further, go faster, go harder, whatever, right?
Yes, you are speaking to my heart. My husband and I started our company 12 years ago, and my mission we've done it differently over the years and evolved and gotten better. But my mission has always been the same, to build stronger families so they could leave these new multi-generational imprints from their wholeness as they've been self-actualized, right? Like self-actualization is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Like, don't just keep it to 100%. Yourself.
Yes. Because that's the only way, we are going to move forward is it's not just when one of us succeeds. It's by, not lifting, but, helping, here's what I did to get, so take that information and then just, go do it. Whatever it is in your life, do it. Because if I could, and here's how I did it, I want to see you go further.
Yeah. That's what and hopefully easier than we had it for so many reasons. Avoid the pitfalls. Here's the mistakes I made. Here are the failures that I bounced back from, so that hopefully you can learn from those and not make the same. Right. Like I use like all these analogies pop in sometimes. So when I'm working like with our power couples, I use the analogy of a pond and those lily pads that you jump off.
Oh,
so when we're, kind of coming to our close of whether it's a 3 month, 6 month, whatever it is, like, all right, so how much space is between the lily pads? Do you feel like you can hop successfully hand in hand and alone? Because I teach intentionally selfish. Like I need you to know your body, know what you want, know how to forgive yourself, all of that, so you can pour into each other. But if it's too much of a gap between the lily pads, are you going to fall through? And you may not drown, but you could break an ankle because you fell unexpectedly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how can we avoid those pitfalls, those gaps? To your point, like let's close that space between the lily pads.
I love that. A great visual. I love that.
So that's my clean version, Elisa. That's my clean version in case mamas don't have headphones on right now. Because we do bedroom to boardroom. So all of that.
I like it.
So I am so curious about this way of feeding the flames that you talk about. And not only feeding the flames, but acknowledging what it is. So you use a C word, which I love because I use it too. Chaos, like the clean C word, guys, the clean word. But right, like, and you talk about the chaos. Can you give everyone a little bit of perspective of that?
Yeah. So, we were talking in the green room, which I had this fun little chat with you before, but it's about the fact that, everyone deals with chaos, whatever that looks like in your own life, right? Like I was telling you that, you can get up any given day of the week and, think your day is going to go a certain way. And then something happens, whether it's a flat tire or, the other day, literally a tree fell on my house. What? A ginormous oak tree fell on our house. Wow. Okay. Like I wasn't expecting that, but then all of a sudden that became the top priority. Like, how do we deal with the fact that there's a massive oak tree on our house? So anyway, my point is that that's what I mean by chaos, like the unexpected, the stuff that comes in that just tosses you, throws you for a loop. And, in my life, that's looked like so many things, whether it's, the experiences that I had as a child in Beirut, or it's the experience, being bullied at school, or it's my parents fighting and me going to run and hide, or, as I grew up older, being a divorced single mom, going through serious health issues, trying to build a business at the same time. Like all of these things confront you. And, on any given day, you have to decide how to respond to that chaos. Are you going to let it stop you? Or are you going to look at it like, okay, I just, tripped and fell, but now I stood up again and I'm stronger because now I know not to, skip over that particular, limb in the road or whatever it was that made you trip. So it's giving you strength. It's giving you awareness. It's giving you more, wisdom. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I want to flip the script and, learn to, not only, overcome that chaos, but learn how to use it and make it, strengthen you and make you more empowered to go forward and use it to succeed.
I love it. It's the spirit of resiliency, right? Like using the fuel, which most people would look at as manure in so many ways, and using it to literally fuel you to that next part of yourself, that next part of the exit, the road that you're on, wherever you're trying to drive to. And it doesn't mean you won't have, to your point, no matter where you are in life, it doesn't mean that you won't have some chaos. Like that is the nature of this world, this dimension that we all exist on in this hour. And you are pouring into people through your book, actually through 30seconds.com as well. and probably the Fire Collective. You heard it here first, guys. And, right? And all the places and spaces that you get to pour into as your business evolves, as your book continues to thrive and do well, to help people avoid some of those lemons and potholes and different things along the road. And that separates you from a lot of people who have grit and they have grown from it, but then they look down on people who haven't quite found their way yet. And they're not handing any tools. They're not handing any techniques, or at least a vulnerable heart with a story of relatability, which is why I honor you for your sharing and being here today.
Thank you, Naketa. I mean, and you, as I was saying, you are so empowering. What you've built is such an incredible platform to empower others. And so it's a privilege for me to be here and share, because together, we can amplify all of these messages and hopefully, make life better so that exactly what we were just talking about. People can avoid these things. People can sort of learn to leverage their chaos rather than sort of use it as a reason not to do something. It's actually a reason to do something, in my opinion. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. As the kids would say, IMO, that in my opinion. I hope I got that right. I'm with you with that. Hashtag mutual feelings. I'm a grandmom now. I'm trying to be down. It's not working. I'm trying. It's not really working.
You're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The 4 and the 5-year-old are like, whatever, but the older ones are like, Mom, please stop. So I'm curious personally, selfishly, how with everything that you are balancing and navigating the chaos that comes into your world, just as chaos comes into mine and everyone else's, and how are you making space to give yourself permission to pause?
That is the best question. And it's such an important reminder for everyone. In the book, I talk a lot about trying to find white space. And what I mean by that is, that quiet sort of place that's exactly what you just described. How do you sort of honor yourself and give yourself that permission to just be? And so I do that in a number of ways. I'm really intentional about being mindful. And I do that in a couple of ways. I take time to meditate, and that's my sort of really mindful time where I'm, diving deep and just unplugging my brain and just letting it go wherever it wants to go. And I do it also with mindful activities. And so things that I love to do are gardening. It just lights me up. I take walks. Walking does the same thing for me. I do yoga, I dance, I sing, I bake. Yes. Okay. I tell a story in the book that I want to share with you because I could talk about any of those things and just, bore you to tears with how much I love them all. But the one thing that I think that, without getting too emotional, the singing and the dancing for me, I kind of finally figured out what that's about and where that came from. And it's because of my husband. So I talk about this story about every night about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, I'll go down, I'll break for the day. I'll go to the kitchen. I'll start, sort of figure out what's for dinner. What am I making for dinner? I like to cook. I like to bake, but not during the busy weeknights. It's hard. But anyway, I digress. So I start to cook and all of a sudden I've got the music on, I'm dancing in the kitchen. Like I'm just kind of like making it fun for me. And so my husband walked in, one time and he said, gosh, I love this time of day. And I said, why? And he said, because you turn on the music and you dance and you're just in your moment. Like there's no one here to bother you. You're just kind of doing your thing. And you've got this like pure joy. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I started thinking about that because I hadn't really thought about it. And then it triggered this memory of my own mother. She would turn on, she's from Puerto Rico. She would turn on her, Latin music and she would just be dancing and singing in Spanish in the kitchen while she made dinner. And I'm like, holy cow, I never would have even thought I'm doing what my mother did.
You became that person.
Right? I don't want to be, who wants to become your mother, right? I mean, but the fact that he thought of it as a joyful thing, as a, beautiful thing, I was like, oh my God, my mom did it. And so I started thinking about the fact that must have been her mindfulness time, even though mindfulness wasn't a thing back then, really. Right. But that's what she was doing, right? To find, giving herself joy and to go back to her own culture and to sort of, make a chore, cooking, a little bit less choreful. It's a little bit more joyful.
No, I love that. And the process that you were talking about with so many of the layers is the divergent thinking that is proven to make you happier when you're able to do things like chop a tomato, and you're not really thinking, but you're not really chopping the tomato. You're kind of in another space in your body and your mind. Or for some people, like my husband loves vacuuming for whatever reason. I'm not complaining, but I am not complaining, people, at all. Do not send me any emails about how I need to be fair to Dean. He's fine. He's fine. But, that divergent thinking is actually really awesome when you're able to zone out into it, and it's not requiring you to be a high level thinker in that moment and use that part of your brain that can create cortisol issues and all of that in your body. Yeah. I also love, Elisa, how you were so loving and supportive of your lover when you gave such that beautiful, clean version of how he's looking at you dancing. And I'm like, girl, he's watching your body shake. That's why he's excited. Okay? That's why that man is excited. He's like, yes, dinner time. I'm coming down right here. What do you need, mama?
I think I'm turning bright red right now, but the truth is, I think you're right.
I know. That's why I was laughing. And if you guys could see her face, she was so sweet and pure. And
like, let's talk about the husband and all bets are off.
All bets are off. I'm like, honey. He's like, cook for me every day. Don't forget that music. Don't forget that music.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, you are so right. Actually, that is so funny. Wait till I tell him. He'll be like, yeah, can you do that cooking thing?
He's like, I think I want a brisket. Something that requires.
It can take a really long time.
Exactly. Something that's going to have you standing and moving for a little while. Elisa, you are such joy and so awesome on so many levels. I know you know this, but I want to infuse it again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, right back at you. It's such a joy and a treat when you find a similar human with such beautiful, right? Just mind melding of thought and goals. And thank you. I could cry, but I won't because it's too happy. But it just you've made me so emotional. So thank you so much for that.
No, I appreciate it, and I honor this energy right here. It's the best. I wish I could package it up and put it in a bottle and give everyone a sip who just needs a little extra. So
that's right.
Thank you for that. So how can people connect with you and learn more about the book? I think 30seconds.com is pretty obvious, but just in case, and you, because you're a powerhouse and you're doing so much great in the world.
Thank you. Well, probably the easiest way to learn about the book is to go to the book website, which is called becomethefire.com. So please sign up if you'd like to stay in touch. That'd be really fun. And then I do have an author website, which kind of, details all the stuff that I've got going on just personally. And I do blog there as well. And that's elisaschmitz.com. So hopefully it's easy to find me.
Yes. And all of the things will be listed in the show notes and all of the places that we will persistently promote everywhere. So if you are on your Peloton treadmill, chopping up a tomato, dancing in the background, trying to make sure that your lover sees what you're working with, don't worry. You can bookmark this. Everything will be in the show notes. So don't worry.
I love it. See, now all these really amazing women are going to start dancing and singing while they're cooking, right? I like it.
I'm not mad. Do not blame me if you end up having to name your children Naketa. That's all I'm saying. I will not take any responsibility for anything except for the brilliance, the beauty, and the balance that comes out of these humans. But do not be mad at me if this is what's created. Blame it on Elisa. Just saying. Thank you so much.
All that responsibility.
Right? All of it. And after you birth the babies, you can come join the Fire Collective. I'm just saying. So it's safe space.
That's right. You're going to need it.
Right. To talk about all the chaos of what was created.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are such joy. Thank you so much for honoring us again with your time. I look forward to our off-air tea conversation. And any final thoughts that you want to share with everyone?
No, I'm just so honored to have been here on your beautiful show and surrounded by your beautiful energy and just feeling so uplifted as I now, close out my workday and head down to my kitchen to dance. I will be thinking about you, Naketa. So thank you so much for allowing me to share.
You are welcome. Your husband will not be thinking about me, but that will be totally as prescribed.
Nice.
Balance Boldly listeners, thank you for staying with us to the end. We appreciate you. We value you. And in all of my boldness, I have two asks. The first is that think of anyone and everyone that you know right now in this hour who is dealing with a level of chaos that feels overwhelming for them, that they need to fuel their fire in some way, but they haven't quite figured out how. So you just need a way to tell them. It's easy. Push share. Share this episode with 1 to 3 humans that no explanation needed. Heard this dope interview. Check it out, girl, guy, friend, whoever. Just share it. That is your gift to them. It is also a gift to me. And I appreciate you in advance for doing it. The second is enjoy the balance of your day, but do it boldly.